Welcome back to the channel. This is the second video we're doing today, and we're working on the 6-seater Icon I60. This is the one that had the brake failure, electromagnetic brake failure. If you want to see that video, just look at the channel and you'll see it should be the one posted probably just before this one. This cart's pretty interesting. We purchased it brand new in 2020, and it's always had a weird tick to it, to where what would happen would be you'd be driving down the road, you would hit a pothole, not with the front. You'd hit the pothole with the front end and nothing would happen. But as soon as the rear end would hit the pothole, the cart would decelerate and then accelerate and then decelerate, accelerate. Basically like you were literally cutting power to it. And I could see, we've kind of run some diagnosis on it, checking the throttle pedal, checking to make sure that the signals were getting to the inverter. And so it's never been a real problem until recently. It started really affecting the use of the cart. We've had a couple customers call us and it just basically died, and then it goes and it dies and it goes. So I've been putting this off because it's going to be something tedious, tearing the cart apart. I've talked to a couple other technicians and kind of described the problems, and they've given me a couple, hey, we had one that did this, but it's literally just one instance that I found that was the same problem. So we did in the other video, we had taken the electric brake, it burnt up on this cart, so we ended up having to take the whole motor assembly off of another cart, put it on here, and then we repaired the brake on the other cart. But now we've torn the back seat off this sucker because I want to get a look at the wiring harness. It's got to be something in the wiring somewhere in the back end of this cart. It's narrowed itself down to, since we've replaced the motor, the entire motor assembly, it's not the motor, it's not the speed sensor in the motor, it's not the motor connectors, it's not, any of that stuff. So it's got to be something back here in the harness. The one technician, Dean, I talked to, he said they did have an Icon I60 2020 model, just like this one, with a bad harness. And so I wanted to tell you or show you what we found just now. Once we like I said, we tore the back end of it off, tore the access panels off, and I had my assistant get up here, turn it on, hit the pedal, and go. And I just started touching wires in the back, and pretty obviously, very quickly, it started freaking out. So I'll cut to me showing you here in just a second what we found in the back. All right, here we go. So this is the back end of the 60. Like I said, we had, turned it on and had the wheels going at, full blast. And I started touching wires. Basically, I ended up hitting this, and the cart freaked out. It started bucking, and so I pulled. This is nothing but the brake. This is electronic brake, and I pulled it out and started wiggling it, and it didn't do anything. And I pulled this one and I started wiggling it. I'm not really sure what it does. It's just it's a dead end or something. I don't know. Anyhow, so I left me with these two. I pulled this one, and nothing really happened. And then I pulled this one, and it started freaking out again. So if you look at this cable here, you see, if you can make out, there's a little difference between, if you look at the yellow, the green, the white, and the blue. If you notice, the seal is all the way down on all three of these except this one, the blue wire. The seal is not all the way down. And if you touch the wire, it comes right out, right into your hand. So I'm pretty sure that this is our loose connector that's been plaguing this cart the entire 2 years we've had it. So yeah, we're going to put this back together correctly and retest, and I'll bring you back when we get done with that. Okay, the good news is it's quasi-fixed. I think it'll work for the time being, but the problem is this blue wire won't seat. The lock is broken off. So basically I have it pushed in, it's seated on the pin. That's what happened initially from the factory. When the lock pin was broken off this wire from the get-go. And when they seated this connector into it, it literally just pushed this up and almost out. And it was barely making contact. And it would function until you hit a bump and, and jostle it. It would lose contact and the cart would just shut down for an instant and then shut down and shut down again. And as soon as it smoothed out, it was good. So I'm gonna have to order some of these carcasses and the pins, and I have the crimper for the other end, so I think it'll work, but we'll have to come back to that. Right now I've got it tied up to where it won't move, and this wire, the blue wire, is in solidly. We already tested it and shook it, and it's good to go. The other thing that I wanted to point out that's I can't stand about some of the Icon stuff is right here. I'm going to use a pointer. Right here is some of the main harness coming out of the control box. It is literally 90-degree hard down against this piece of metal. And this is, if you put your finger under it, it is sharp right here. And these wires are literally bent at a hard 90 and then drug underneath this cross member. And I mean, yeah, what could possibly go wrong there? Actually, when I got under the cart and I looked up and I saw this, I was like, there's a problem. It cut through the wires. But luckily it wasn't that, and it was this. But it's not going to be long. It's already been 2 years, but I looked and those wires got creases in them from the bottom edge of this bar. So what I'm going to do is put a little piece of edging on the bar and try to get some tape up there. But still, piss poor design. Shame on you, Icon. It's terrible. That's garbage. I mean, it's not like there's not room where this box could have moved over. There's 4 inches here. You could have put it over a ½ inch or an inch. It's just piss poor. So that's it for that fix. That's a quick one. Unfortunately, I've had other issues like that with Icons. Bad connections, loose connections. That's just probably the 4th or 5th one that I've had to fix. Just poor build quality as far as the harness goes. And another culprit is up under the dash on the display. If you have funky dash issues or the display goes out or your speed quits working, just take that cover off and verify all the pins are in. And I've had multiple times on 2 of the other carts where the pins weren't, same thing, the pins weren't seated and they just worked their way out. But pretty confident that's going to fix this one. It's pretty much a smoking gun right off the bat, which I'm happy with. I'll take it all day long. It beats having to get into that big harness that's underneath that piece of metal. I wasn't going to look forward to dealing with that or repairing it because the entire box would have to come down and out, and I would have to probably pull the wiring out and repair each individual one, whichever one was broken or corroded or cut through. So I'll take a one little pin with a broken lock on it to fix. But thanks again for watching. If you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up. If you have any other questions, comment below. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go do a test drive and verify this one is fixed.